and we'll call them and see whether.
Okay. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I am the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity Church of Flint. Lord, hey,
Loud and clear. My soul is
welcome here.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm in the right place at the right
And
time.
it's definitely the right time.
I'm just where I'm supposed to be.
Just where I'm supposed
I'm
to
in
be.
the right place at the right time.
Yeah, because everybody
I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and
That's what
my soul
is welcome here.
My soul is
Welcome
welcome here.
here.
Oh, my
My soul
is
is welcome
welcome
right
here.
here.
I am getting the message loud and clear.
Clear.
My soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
My soul is welcome. All right, wonderful, wonderful. If you would, please remain standing as we open our service with our statement of being together.
God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Thank you. You may be seated. For those of you who may not be been aware, but our opening song, "My Soul Is Welcome Here," was written and performed by Daniel Nahmod, and he was in town, performed in concert in Livonia on Saturday, and I was informed that that was a very, very wonderful, wonderful concert. What's that?
I thought it would be postponed.
No, it was on Saturday, and some of the people that I knew that went to it said that he was at his normal normal very best. The concert was very, very wonderful. With that, I'd like to welcome everyone to Unity Church of Flint, where we believe and teach that everyone is a spiritual being created in God's image. We also believe that the Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, all of people are inherently good. Unity is a positive, practical, progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and Fillmorian theology. This teaching ministry honors the universal truths in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. And we are glad and happy that you have chosen this spiritual path. Because here at Unity Church of Flint, we are committed to developing our 12 faculties of consciousness. Each month, we focus on one of these by emphasizing a disciple and corresponding color. The spiritual idea for the month of November is release or elimination. Some may say renunciation, which is simply the ability to let go. The disciple is Thaddeus, and he represents the expulsion of negative thinking. The corresponding color is brown or russet. So this month, let us wear or carry something in those colors to remind us of something very, very important. To eliminate from our lives everything that does not contribute to our spiritual growth. That's something we have to be mindful of and do all year round. If it does not contribute to your spiritual growth, it has no place in your life. Like one of my friends, I said it this way: if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm happy to open up the floor to our singer for today, my buddy Eddie Over.
It's a beautiful fall day. The falling trees drift by the window. The autumn leaves red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon we'll hear old winter's song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall. Since you went away, days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter's song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to
Thank you so much, Annie, and very, very time appropriate. The autumn leaves are definitely falling. It's a very, very beautiful time of the year, and it's also always a good time of the year to be grateful and to share our gratitude. Because once we share that gratitude out loud, it automatically increases the good in our lives. So this is the portion of the service where we invite you to share what you are grateful for or how you have been working these true principles in your life. So this time, we're opening the floor to give gratitude.
Yeah, I know. It was difficult. But I'm grateful for my donkey and for our reed safety,
Yes.
someone, wherever he is. And I know that he's coming home. We know he's coming home. So I just have to be grateful for that.
Yes, yes. You see, that's the wonderful thing about gratitude. It's not always being grateful for something. That's where we have to really work to a growth point, is not just being grateful for something when it happens, but during the event, to be able to maintain in those times.
I am grateful for being here as every Sunday, as it is so good to see real people. Real people, and not have to type.
Yes.
Into people. I'm grateful for real people. And I am grateful for my grandchildren who were born in 2020 and 1999.
Mhm.
And I talked to my grandson, I talked to my grandson Ian last night, and I will talk to granddaughter Megan. So I'm very, very grateful. They live in Washington State, so getting the time
Oh, yeah,
things straight is a challenge.
exactly.
But I'm grateful for my grandkids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something about being a grandparent. Grandparents have this ability to give them back. Yes, sir.
Yes, we always sugar them up and then send them home.
Mm-hmm.
I am also grateful for my grandson. He and his father have had a tumultuous relationship through the years. And he called his mother this past week, just before, as he was preparing for his basketball game, and he said, "I'm calling you with a word up." He's here. And he said, and I'm letting you know because don't get bent out of shape, I handle it. And he does, he handles him very well. So, and that's growth on my grandson's part. Can't say the same for his father. But it's just a wonderful time in life to be a grandparent
Mm-hmm.
so that you can see the growth that all parties have made. Because he is the way he is because of his mother also. She doesn't sometimes see her input into it and how he's turning out. And this past week was his 23rd birthday. So he's doing his student teaching and he wants to be a special ed teacher. And I'm just so proud.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
Well, I am grateful that I know that God is taking care of my kitty cat Heidi, who is also lost. And grateful for my granddaughter who helped me put flyers out this morning.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yes, ma'am.
I'm grateful for the years that Carmen served on the Board of Trustees. Thank you. And I'm grateful that Ty is our new member of the Board of Trustees.
Yes, yes. It's
Yes.
going to be an interesting, a wonderful, put it experience with this shift in leadership. It's going to be.
But Carmen,
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you. I have enjoyed it, but I am just, I am ready to not have to think about it.
Gotcha. Actually, anyone else? If not, for the announcements, I'm happy to announce that, do we have any birthdays or anniversaries for the month of November? I know we have one. Your grandson?
yes.
That's a November birthday. Any
My
other?
granddaughter Kaylee.
Your granddaughter Channing,
My
okay.
granddaughter Nanny.
Maddie,
And my grandson, Ian, and my granddaughter, Denise.
beautiful. All the grandchildren are
Yeah.
born in November.
Baby.
Any anniversaries? Guess no. Then the announcements, the November, December daily words will arrive this week. Please be patient. Our subscription had to be renewed, but they are on the way. So I just caught them at the tail end of it, and I said, okay, we haven't received our daily words yet. They're normally in by now. They said, oh, well, thank you, Reverend G, for calling us because the subscription is expired, so we need to get this done. So I took care of that right away. And that was on Thursday, and they said they were going out in the mail that day. So we should have our November, December daily words sometime next week. Our weekly prayer meditation is on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock, and all are welcome. And if you are not able to attend in person, please remember to join us in consciousness wherever you are. Also on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, our church building is open to the public for Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and that is at 7 p.m. On Thursdays, we're going to be taking a short break from our Thursday classes. However, our Thursday classes will resume after Thanksgiving on November the 30th. And the book we will be studying on Thursdays is Florence Shen's book, The Power of the Spoken Word. There'll be more information about that to come in the following weeks. Our completely virtual class is on Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. and it is entitled Meeting Jesus Again for the First Time. The registration for this class is $40, and the author of the book is Marcus Borg. If you still want to join the class, there's still room. You can still join in. You can see Annie or a virtual audience. If you're interested, you can always jump in. I do have the classes recorded. You can catch up that way. I will say that this week, Wednesday night, we do have a guest instructor, and that's going to be the Reverend Dr. Denise Lockhart, who has met and spent a lot of time with the author. So she's going to be bringing a new insight to the class and to the material because, excuse me, I feel like a student in preparing for her to teach the class because she was one of my teachers. And everything I know about doing outlines and teaching, I learned from her. And so while we were preparing for this week's class, she didn't say that I had surpassed her in teaching, but she did say that she was learning a lot from me. So I'm looking forward to this week's class with her. Those are all of the announcements that I have.
Game day.
Game day, thank you. I was coming to that. Game day is when? The 18th.
3 p.m.
Saturday, this Saturday.
Yes, it's, like you said, it's always something
Okay, Saturday, November 18th
at 3 p.m.
at 3 p.m. The 18th, there's something special in the back of my head about that day. Oh,
I know for sure. But, last I don't still celebrate.
The 18th is until he changed her baby shower.
Oh, okay, so today's baby shower is gonna be on the 18th. Okay, what time?
Noon.
Noon, okay.
That's what you were thinking of. Here.
Here.
Shower the 18th at noon.
And the baby now weighs,
2 pounds, 6 ounces.
Oh.
Almost
Wow.
16 inches long.
Tall, it's gonna be a tall baby.
She was like 13 inches when she was born. So yeah, she's already 3
She's
inches.
grown.
Yeah. Now she's size of 2.5 potatoes.
2.5 potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
How is she doing?
She's doing great.
She's doing
really
great.
good. She had a setback last week, but
Mhm.
they just said, that virus that she just got it, some other virus. But otherwise, she's doing really good. She's more alert. When Talia comes in the room, seems like she wakes up. She says they get to hold her more now.
Okay,
So,
beautiful. Because of today's message, I am slightly altering the order of service. So with that change, it's time for Annie to sing again.
Be not dismayed, whatever betide, God will take care of you. Beneath His wings of love abide, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day, for all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. No days of toil when heart does fail, God will take care of you. When danger fears your path assail, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day, for all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. But He will provide. God will take care of us. Nothing we ask will be denied. God will take care of us. God will take care of us through every day or all the way. He will take care of us. God will take care of us.
Thank you so much, Andy. I have really been enjoying this time of year because I always try to do something this time of year where I focus the message on the basic principles. And I try to keep it as simple as possible. We can get sidetracked sometimes when it comes to our message, or we can get laywayed, not really focus on the message. So once a year, it's always been my goal to make sure that we bring our attention back to our basics. And in dealing with our basic principles and keeping it simple, just to reiterate and to bring to your attention that there are 5 basic principles that unity is founded on. And it is of the utmost importance that we remember these and stick to them. The first one is this, that God is the source and creator of all. There is no outer enduring power. God is the source. And we must keep that first and foremost in mind, because it's real easy to begin to think that other things are providing us with what we need, such as a job, such as a check, such as a husband. Okay. But that is not our source. God is the source. There is nothing else. There is absolutely nothing else. Point number 2, or principle number 2, is that we are all spiritual beings. Because you see, sometimes we fall off into this thing, well, I'm only human. No, you're not. You are having a human experience, but that human experience is based on our third principle, is that we create our experiences through our way of thinking. All of our experiences are the way they are because of how we think about them. We create our experiences by the things that we have going on in our minds. And you'll know, here's a key point here, to know what's going on in your mind. If you really want to know what you're thinking about, watch what you're talking about. If you're thinking about it, you are going to talk about it. If you are talking about it, that only means that you are thinking about it. Therefore, our thinking must be elevated. Now, where we're going to be focusing on today is principle number 4, that there is power in affirmative prayer, which we believe increases our connection with God. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today, is increasing our connection with God, which makes number 5 vitally important, is that knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. And that's what prayer actually is, living these principles. Now, for principle number 4, I want to add something very basic and very simple to this ideal, or to this concept of prayer. That prayer is basically practicing, write this down, practicing the presence of God. And I'm going to get into a lot today about what prayer is. When we're looking at prayer, it is the key. I want you to understand that the key to all successful spiritual living is making God a part of our consciousness. In practicing the presence, in practicing making God part of our consciousness, I had been looking and asking God, I said, okay, God, how do I make this point very clear in today's terminology? As long as we are asking God for something, we're not praying. I want to make that clear. As long as we're trying to get something from God, that's not praying. Virtual audience, you are going to get a very, very good demonstration, especially those of you who are watching on Facebook today. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to encourage you all to go back and watch the Facebook feed, because this exemplifies to the highest level that I know of right now what prayer is and what prayer does. We're not trying to get something, but prayer is getting you in focus. Practicing the presence of God is like a swimming pool that you get into and that you are fully immersed in that water. Prayer gets you in line with God. Now, I'm down here for a reason, because the Facebook audience, the virtual people on Facebook, you are going to really get this. You are going to understand how prayer gets you in line with God as soon as I do this. Because see, where I'm standing right now, I'm out of the view of everybody that's watching on Facebook right now. The YouTube audience can see me very nicely because of the wide scope that lens has. What prayer really does, the real essence of prayer, is to get you in line with God's camera. That's what prayer actually is. See, spiritual truth is only a power in proportion as it is brought alive in our awareness and kept alive by our continued attention to it. You see, prayer is only as strong. Prayer is only as strong as you are, and your ability to get in line with everything. Now, just because you are over here in consciousness, just because you are over here in your awareness, you are over here in your experiences, does not mean that this does not exist. So this consciousness that we are working on developing, which we call prayer, brings you here. And once we are here, ooh, good God Almighty, you will find and you will learn that there is nothing you ever need, because you already have it. It's not about trying to get it, but that's what some people think prayer is, trying to get something. You see, our prayer life is like a fish asking asking and wondering where the water is. But the fish is in the water all the time, because the fish is not going to say, they're swimming around, I need some water. I want some water. I want some water. Give me some water. Duh. The fish is already in it. Everything that you need, Spirit, God is the water that you are immersed in. And this whole concept of prayer is about getting you in connection to where you actually already are originally. Now, when we're looking at what this prayer thing is, we find from the revealing word that prayer is communion between God and man. And this communion takes place at the innermost part of your being. The innermost part of your being. We're talking about the innermost part. Remember, here's the camera. Here's your lens. Most of us, or most people, are operating out here. But this communion, this connection with God takes place here. You see, prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action. You see, our mind is working all of the time. But the majority of the time, that vibration is moving about here. You're outside the pool, and it's 90-something degrees, and you want to cool off. And if you want to cool off, what do you have to do? Get in the water. It's over here where we are experiencing certain conditions. It's over here on that low vibration when we're experiencing confusion, when we're experiencing discontent. But it's when that vibration begins to increase, that's when we're getting in the water. We're getting in focus. There is a 5-step prayer process that I want to share with you today about how to move to that innermost part of your being. This first one is the most difficult. If you don't get this first one, the other 4 basically mean nothing. Okay? And that is to relax. Why do I say this is the most important or this is the most difficult? It's because most people pray when their back is up against the wall. When things get hard, when things get bad, when they in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult to relax or make that connection when there's a whole lot of discontent and confusion and stuff going on. How are you going to be able to create a connection with God when emotionally and physically and mentally you are wrecked? Being able to relax puts you in flow or in an easier position to recognize God's presence. That's why it's called practicing His presence. Because the more you practice being in this zone, it's easier to relax when there's trouble. It's called being prayed up.
Yeah.
I practiced this enough times. I practiced this over and over and over, so that when troubles come, when there's a storm, when there's a mountain in front of me, when there is a problem, I don't have to work so hard to relax. That's why this is the first and the most important in the 5-step prayer process. The next step is concentration. Now, when I say concentration, it does not mean
No, that's way not relaxed.
thank you. Step 2 in the 5-step prayer process, concentration, means focus your attention. Focus your mind on a single thought or idea or scripture that resonates with you. Concentration there are too many things that can get our attention.
Yeah.
There's always something that's going to get our attention. The phone. When you are relaxing, I encourage you to at some point put the phone down. Put it on silent. In order for you to relax, in order to be able to concentrate, it may mean going in a room where you're not going to be disturbed by anything else. Finding a time of day when it is quiet, because see, we have these squirrel minds. You know, say squirrel mind, you know what I'm talking about, something comes about squirrel. And it's always going to take you away, and you're going to be thinking about, something else. Centering yourself. That's what concentration means. God is all there is. There is absolutely nothing else. That's just something I use on a regular basis to focus my attention on. Because see, as I keep that first and foremost in my mind, there is absolutely nothing else, because I have practiced that over and over and over again. When this comes up, it's easier for me to negate that and to eliminate that and not let that overtake me, because I have practiced this presence over and over and over again, which leads us to point number 3, or step number 3 in our 5-step prayer process, is to meditate. When it comes to meditate or meditation, it's in a simple way of putting it, being open to God. That's what meditation is, being open to God. To realize or to know that there is something greater than what I think I am or who I think I am. I'm focused and open to that, not myself. To allow my ego, my personality, which has its place, to set aside and say, you have your place, but right now is not your time. This is God's time. Ooh, I wasn't going to go here, but I have to. Because this is our church home. This, our spiritual center. Sunday morning at 11 o'clock is our time. Nothing takes precedence over that. This is what I'm committed to. This is where I'm going to be. Regardless, nothing else is going to disturb or interfere with this time. Now, at 2 o'clock on Sunday, okay. 2:30, fine. You need something from me? That's possible. Wednesday, it's such a time. I'm free for that. But you do not mess with my Sunday morning time. This is when I'm open and I'm committed to being here. Point number 4. Realization. From the depths of your being, know that you are one with God. From the depths of your being, I realize and I know this. To see, all of these others get you to the point where you can realize, where you know that you know that you know. What do you know? That's the whole key to this prayer process. Is getting to that realization. When you finally get it and realize, and it comes when you get that aha moment that God is the source of my supply, a channel will close. I guarantee you. Channels close. But just because one door closes, do you know God got a whole lot of doors?
Yes.
Oh, and the door that you're trying to open is the one God is trying to shut. Why? Because you're dependent you're dependent on that channel. But God is telling you, when you realize that God is the source of your supply, whatever channel that is, whatever door that is, God is telling you, look, baby, I got 200 other doors.
Mm-hmm.
And you focused on that one? See, that's realization that God is the source. That's what happened to Myrtle Funeral. She had the realization. She had that aha moment. You know what? I am a child of God. I don't inherit sickness. That was a realization for her. And when see, that's what prayer is. That realization when you finally get it. Now, at that point that you finally get it, that's when you can move into the 5th step of the prayer process, and that's giving thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God is the source of my supply. Thank you, God, that I don't have to be chained to this job. God got jobs all over the place.
Yes, he does.
My good flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. But as long as we are stuck to the expected way, as long as we are stuck to the way we did it 18 years ago, glory. Well, that's the way we did it back then. It ain't back then now. I'm giving thinks that what was done then worked, but that ain't now. There was a time, and you are aware of this, there was a time people went to church on horses. But did anybody ride a horse in the church this morning? So that was the way we did it then, and it worked. But as we grow, as we evolve, I realize that there's another way to do things. And I thank God, I'm thankful that that did what it did then, but I'm also thankful that I've grown, that I've learned there is something else I can do. That's what prayer is. All 5 of these steps, excuse me, are present in what we know as the Lord's Prayer. Now, here is the wonderful thing about the Lord's Prayer that most people don't know or most people don't understand, is that in Matthew's account, he starts it off this way. After this manner, therefore, pray ye. Luke, on the other hand, has it written differently. It says, when you pray, say something like this. It's never about these are the actual words that you are to be using when you are praying the Lord's Prayer. You see, it's all about getting you in a place where you are in the presence of God. So whatever it takes to get you in the presence of God, say stuff or pray in that manner. So to get you in the presence of God, say stuff like, is basically what this is talking about. Because you see, biblical scholars for years have debated whether or not these are the actual words of Jesus. Uh-oh. Watch this. Jesus said it, but did it originate from him? That's the key. They're saying it actually came out of his mouth. Here's a good example. Everybody repeat after me. I have a dream.
I have a dream.
Who said that?
Martin Luther King.
No, you just said it. So that's what biblical scholars are saying about these words that we have come to know as the Lord's Prayer. So in other words, what the message is to get us in the zone, to get us in focus. Our prayer or our activity should be as Jesus spoke these words, our Father. Because you see, in the ancient language, the word Father was not Father, it was Abba, meaning Papa. Meaning that there's a close relationship that you have with God. And for it to say our, get this, Jesus is putting himself in the same position or the same mode as you. Because it's saying, Abba isn't just mine, but Abba belongs to all of us, which art in heaven. Once you get this now, that heaven, right, is an ever-expanding state of consciousness. Write it. Heaven is an ever-expanding state of consciousness. It is not a city with gold streets that you go to after you die. It is neither a geographical location above the sun, moon, and stars. In this consciousness that we are establishing, oh, hallowed be thy name. We're establishing this consciousness, that this consciousness is set apart. Set apart from what? Set apart from your humanness. Set apart from your pettiness. Set apart from your whatever. That there is a consciousness that is set apart. Now, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Good one here. Because see, we always want to talk about what the kingdom is and what God's will is. But I want to focus on this last part today. On earth as it is in heaven. What we are recognizing or realizing at this point is that what is done on the outside is only done on the outside because it has taken place on the inside.
Right.
Whatever our experiences are, they have manifested themselves on the outer because it has been going on the inner. That's what it means by on earth, outside, as it is in heaven. Once we get that, then we can say, thy kingdom come. So the kingdom of God, or the counsel of God, must be done. God's will must be done first in heaven, which is inside of you. Then and only then can it be done on the outside of you. Here's that realization point. Give us this day our daily bread. At the realization point, Jesus, the master teacher, is teaching us that everything that you could ever want, everything that you could ever need is already provided for. So in your prayer time, realize that whatever it is that you need, whatever it is that you think you need, you already have it. It ain't got to come from nowhere. It's already there, and it's already done. Now, when it comes to this prayer or this way of being in the presence of God, this is where New Thought has a spin on this, and where unity takes it somewhere that is not like other folks. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Excuse me. If folks really knew what this meant, they'd never pray the Lord's Prayer again. Because that simple word, that one little word, as, makes a big difference. As it means the same way. So when you're praying this prayer, you are actually saying, God, forgive me the same way I forgave the guy who cut in front of me on the way to church today. That's what that means. God, forgive me the same way that I forgave somebody. And you know good and doggone well you ain't forgave them. You know why? Because personal experience. I thought I had forgiven somebody. But when I saw him in the grocery store in the end of the aisle, I got a knot in my neck. I thought for sure enough I had forgiven him for the stuff that he did. But see, here's the thing about forgiveness. It's never ever about I'm okay with what you did. I just give up my emotional attachment to it. So forgive us. God, forgive me the same way I forgive somebody else. So this whole thing about forgiveness and praying this prayer and getting from the outskirts to the innermost part of your being, it's about forgiveness. And get this, leave us not in temptation. It is never lead us not into temptation. Leave us not. Because all of us guys, we got that point, we got that mindset of being distracted. That's what temptation is, being distracted. Things are easily distracting you. So leave God. I don't want to stay there. God, don't leave me in this consciousness where I'm distracted by anything else. Don't deliver me from evil, but deliver me from the error. That is the word. Deliver me from error. The mistakes that I have in my thinking, the mistakes that I make in my attitude. Leave us not. That's the word. Leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. The mistakes, the missed information. Here's that Thanksgiving part. When we can recognize that God is the kingdom, God's kingdom, God's glory is recognized forever and ever. Or we can say it like this: yours, God, your kingdom, your counsel, your glory is dominant from all ages to all ages. That's what practicing the presence is. What is it going to take to get you into that state of consciousness? This is why the daily word is read in service before we go into meditation. And I'm going to say it here because today's message is going to strike something that I'm going to do going forward. I flow with changes in my life. See, sometimes it's not easy for us to flow with change. We resist change. One of the changes that we're getting to is working with these words that we use when we sing the Lord's Prayer. That's a change. That's going to be difficult or different for some people to get and for some people to understand. I'm going to flow with that change. Another change that I'm going to give you on Sunday mornings is just because the date is on the page does not mean that that's the reading that we're going to have that day. It is very possible that the reading that we read from the daily word might be from 2 months ago. Excuse me. It's very possible that the reading that gets us into meditation is the one for next Tuesday. I don't want you to get stuck on the date that is on this page. Because the message is good regardless of whatever the date is. I flow with life's changes. Looking at my image in the mirror, I see myself at times when my life was changing. I may see the grinning child who lost a tooth for the first time, or the proud student on graduation day. Perhaps I recall my ambitions as I embarked on a new career. Maybe I feel the tinge of sadness revisiting the pain of the loss I felt during a more difficult transition. As I have grown spiritually, I have learned to flow with life's transitions. I know that even during the most challenging changes, God remains a constant presence. I will always be divinely protected and one in God with the people I have loved. Moving willingly and gratefully through my transitions deepens and strengthens my awareness of God, awareness of myself, and my awareness of others. As we look at moving through these changes in our lives, if you have prayer requests, please bring them forward because we are about to enter into that consciousness of prayer. So anyone that you want to bring into this consciousness, please bring it. I have RB in this prayer consciousness. We're going to keep Tanky, Taiki. We're going to keep Taiki. Tiger. We're going to keep Tiger in this consciousness. We're moving now, seriously. Grandson, student loan, we bring everything into this prayer consciousness. We're bringing the whole city of Flint into this prayer consciousness. We're bringing the whole planet into this prayer consciousness. We're bringing all disputes into this prayer consciousness. See, I want you to see how heavy, how serious this thing is. This ain't something that we just do because it's part of the service. Prayer time. It's a serious thing. And we move into that by singing together the Lord's Prayer.
Which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever.
Let's take this opportunity to experience the 5-step prayer process. First of all, to relax. Resting your mind, your body. Do so by allowing your shoulders to fall. Take several deep breaths, cleansing breaths. Removing whatever you have in your hands. Becoming physically, mentally, and emotionally still. We now focus. We are able to focus our attention on the Christ presence within. I can now focus and center my attention on God. Knowing that God is all there is. There is absolutely nothing else. Being focused and centered, I can now be still and know. I am now open. You are now open. We are now open to the flow of the Holy Spirit. And as the life force of God moves through every cell, every fiber of my being, God's perfect health is made manifest right here, right now. I am now open to the abundance of God in all forms. God, I thank you for your perfect will. God, I thank you because every need is now met. God, I thank you because my body is whole, perfect, and complete. God, I thank you for the peace of mind that I now experience. God, I thank you because the joy that I feel, the joy that I experience in this presence of God cannot be touched by anybody else. This joy that I have, that I experience as I pray. In this presence, not just now, but every day. I am in a high vibration. This vibration that takes place at the innermost part of my being enables me to stand strong in the face of any situation. Enables me to stand strong in the face of any adverse condition. Enables me to stand firm in the presence of God, regardless as to what is said, regardless to what is heard, regardless to what is done. I practice this presence. It is in a consciousness of oneness with Spirit that we declare this to be true in the name and through the power that is in the name of our Master Teacher and Elder Brother, Jesus the Christ. Amen. And so it is. Thank you.
And we are always praying. Hearts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness. And know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Let us continue this prayer consciousness as we bless our love offerings, our tithes, our supporting gifts. However you have come prepared to give or however you have been directed to give. Let us take our love offerings in our hands and bless it this way. Divine love through me blesses and increases all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. There's a basket on the back for you to place your love offering in as you're leaving the building. For those of you who are watching us virtually, you may go to the website and click the donate button on the home page and contribute your time, your support that way through PayPal. If you would now, as let's close our service out by standing and singing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With day. Let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And together our prayer for protection.
The light of God surrounds us.
The love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yeah.
I forgot to tell everybody when I first got here that Howard took the turn for the worse and back in the hospital this week.
Oh.
Howard, back in the hospital, okay.
What hospital?
I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, people said it's just too, there's no break your body. Yeah. So, but, yeah.
Okay, Kathy.
Yes.
She didn't really say, 'cause she was just so shook up, she just said, they had a horrible 2 days ago, the sleeping, they think he's had a stroke back to back.
Rev, before you turn it all off, can we get back to the very fine print that you had on the screen
Yes.
during?
I know that.
You and Gina have a wonderful time.
Thank you. How long you have done?
I'll be leaving this one on the 19th.
Oh,
How long will you go?
we'll be gone until December 12th.
Wave in the air.
Right.
I think it'll be
See you,
easier
Mary.
to get the camera on you on the other.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't.
I'm gonna try to get with Gina
I could
tomorrow.
probably stay
Okay.
one view, if you prefer.
Hurry up.
He needs to leave, so we need to.